Hey guys, Omni here. We finally have our first official trailer for the live-action Monster Hunter movie that's coming out. You know, there was a teaser trailer released a couple days ago that I watched on my own because it was really short. Didn't want to make a video about it because I'm not hugely deeply into Monster Hunter. I played Monster Hunter World, but that's about as far as my involvement's gone. But we talked about it a little bit during our casting video about the live-action Resident Evil reboot, which is fitting because the dynamic duo that brought us the first batch of Resident Evil films is involved in this one. This is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed all of the previous live-action Resident Evil movies. And again, just like with those, stars his wife, Milla Jovovich, in the lead role. So far from what I've seen of it, just the glimpses from the teaser trailer, it's got the monsters, right? I don't know a whole lot about the Monster Hunter lore outside of what I know from Monster Hunter World. And in this, from what I know about the movie, is a group of U.S. Marines somehow end up transported into this world. And I don't know that that's the case with any of the other Monster Hunter titles. My understanding is there was always these factions, these groups, these hunters that lived and were born and thrived in this world already. Which kind of comes down to a problem, I think, with video game movies in general, is the need to always have Earth involved or have us transported into another world where this thing is happening. It's like, you know, what the past couple decades of film has taught us nothing, that our audiences are smart enough to be dumped into a fresh new world and understand its rules. I mean, look at Lord of the Rings, look at plenty of other properties, Star Wars, the Marvel movies don't really care about you're able to suspend your disbelief and just dive right into it. I don't know if it's they just don't trust this idea. I mean, they did it with Sonic. They didn't have it take place in Sonic's reality. He had to come to ours. They do it with all these animated things. Well, the Smurfs are now out of their reality and are in our world. They never just have us set in the world it takes place. And I just don't understand that. But from what I've seen from the posters, the screens and stuff, it starts to look at least more Monster Hunter-y than Resident Evil ever looked like Resident Evil. So I have some reluctant optimism about going into this movie. It helps that I am not immensely attached to this like I am Resident Evil. I grew up with that. I've played almost every game. So it was a little bit harder for that, aside from the enjoyment of them just being terribly fun to watch bad movies. All right, let's go ahead and check out the trailer.
Falcon Main, this is Bravo team. Do you copy? Storm incoming. Send immediate support.
Captain,
What'd you find?
it's definitely Bravo team, but the tracks end here.
They can't just disappear.
Oh my god. And here you go. Zap, you're in another world now. I just expect Emotep's face to come out of that cloud.
What the hell just happened?
On our six!
Holy.
See, now that looks good. And it brought you Resident Evil.
How did we get here?
Like, if you just need to tell... I'll talk about it after, I'm sorry. Oh,
Stop! We are not your enemy. We're soldiers.
Give me a hand!
oh my god. Oh!
Gotta tell me about that.
Okay. I mean,
Happened to your family.
they got the big swords, they got the magic stuff, they got the monsters.
If we can get into their world, we can get into ours.
Oh,
My God.
oh no. Don't go there. Oh, damn it.
Gotta get home. You with me?
All right. So Again, this kind of comes back to the point I was making in the beginning. Why does it need to be separate worlds? Like, it's turning into a Tron Legacy. It's turning into just like so many other movies where it's like, oh, we ended up here. It's like, oh, if we can get here, they can come to our world. And now we're going to have these monsters on Earth. Again, just kind of bringing us back to what we know. Again, in defense of the movie and the production behind it, it makes it cheaper. It's less sets you have to build. It's less CGI and fantasy you have to bring to life. Maybe that's the main reason so much of it happens that way, just to save money, at fault for the story. So I don't know. We see it taking out a jet. We see some monster taking out a jet. So clearly, at some point, the monsters cross over onto Earth. But I liked everything that I saw. Well, I liked all the monsters that we saw. And I'll just like the little bits that were in here as well about just everything that we saw that took place in the Monster Hunter realm. And, it just, I don't know. It just looked really interesting. Of course, we got Tony Jaa as this random hunter who lives over there. Not sure who else is going to be in this as far as cast members, at least that I'm familiar with. Looks like Ron Perlman's supposed to be in here somewhere, though I didn't. If we saw him, we didn't get a good glimpse of him, or at least I missed it. But the monsters look great. I like the way they're like the outfits that they don once they're in the Monster Hunter world. Again, I don't like that they're separated. Behind our world, there is another. Anyway, I liked what I saw. It looks more like I can recognize more of the elements, at least that I'm aware of from Monster Hunter, from the game that I have played. And I was sent that we're actually I didn't see it in this trailer either, but that there will be Palicos in there, and that there is the beefy buff chef one, and that there's some type of flirtatious relationship between Mia's character and him. I don't know. Is she gonna how involved are the Palicos going to be in this, or was this an excerpt from something else? Is there any credibility to where this is coming from? It's from Eurogamer, reported by IGN. Couldn't make out the monster in a movie without having a Palico in it. So we definitely lean into the Palico. Palico. Additionally, Meowscular Chef, Monster Hunter World's brawny feline canteen overseer, will be in the movie. Will be a sidekick to Ron Perlman, and it will have a rather flirtatious relationship with Milla Jovovich's Captain Artemis. All right. we can throw that in there. I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm wondering if, with this being a fresh start, how they could take the lessons learned from what worked and what didn't in Resident Evil. And I hope they just try to make a good movie and stick to it, because Resident Evil, I think the first one was all right. They wanted to do something original. They created original characters, an original mansion, original setting. And for the most part, that was the only one that truly felt Resident Evil to me. When it continued from there, they started incorporating these facets, these false clones of things that are named and recognizable from the games, but not really what they are at all. It just started to fall apart and turn into camp. And it just went really hard down that road. I would like to see them take like a fun, energetic, but genuine approach to bringing this to life. But I think there's a lot of potential here, and I like what we've seen, aside from the bits that put us in our world. Throw some nads, Hollywood, and just commit to putting us in another world. Your audience isn't stupid. If we can watch Lord of the Rings and those movies blow up, you can set us anywhere in the world, give us an explanation of the world. It doesn't have to be a human transported here to give us a character proxy for the audience. You can have a fish out of water tale using a character within the world. That's what the hobbits were in the Lord of the Rings. We saw they didn't know anything outside the Shire. The Shire is pretty easy to get your hands on. It's basically a rural community, any rural community. And oh wow, what's this? All this crazy stuff I've never seen before. What is this, Gandalf? Ooh. That's all you need to do. That's all you got to do. Yeah. Anyway, again, I'm reluctantly optimistic about what we've seen in this. It looks interesting. It, like, I don't know. It recognizably looks like Monster Hunter while we're in the Monster Hunter setting. Like the little training montages, the way the weapons look, the armor looks. It's just like what I've seen in the games. And they function a lot of that way. A little bit of magic to them with the graves that light up into fire and stuff. The bow, the giant ass bow. I don't know. It looks good so far. I'm hopeful. I hope that they've learned their lessons and we're going to get a solid adaptation entry into the Monster Hunter world and lore and where we go from there. So guys, what are your thoughts on this live action Monster Hunter? What did you think of the trailer? What do you think about what we've seen? What do you think about the setup, this whole like mixing of the worlds thing, always having to have us transported from our world or have our world involved whatsoever in these adaptations that have nothing to do with Earth? And what do you think about this concept of this relationship between Milla Jovovich and this buff animated cat? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everybody.